These days, it's a foregone conclusion that the party in opposition usually picks up seats in a midterm election. And you can see that in 2018, where Democrats picked up 41 seats, and then you can see the opposite in 2010, where Republicans picked up 63 seats. But what if I said that that doesn't have to happen? And what if Trump could prevent that for Republicans in 2026? Welcome back to the political landscape. Today we're going to be taking a look at what Trump could do to prevent a blue wave in 2026. So let's jump straight into it. Now, the 2024 election was a red wave for Trump, but not necessarily for down ballot Republicans. Republicans did fairly well in the Senate. They won 53 seats to Democrats' 47, but when it came to the House, they had a very, very small majority. Only 220 seats to Democrats' 215. And you could argue that Republicans would not have this House majority if Trump had not won by such a big margin. So with that in mind, the question arises, are Republicans going to do as well in the House and Senate when Trump is not on the ballot? Let's take a look at what Trump could do to put his party in the best stance in 2026. So the first thing on my Trump second term checklist is expanding personal income tax cuts passed in 2017. If you look at a public opinion poll, you see that 71% of swing state voters supported extending personal income tax cuts that were passed in 2017, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And this is one of the pieces of Trump's agenda that is very, very popular among Americans. And so I believe that he should do that. It's a more bipartisan issue, and I think that would be really good for having a more bipartisan agenda. And then the second thing that I think would be really good is securing the border and mass deportations. Now, back in the 2024 election season, you would hear Trump say at his rallies, securing the border and these mass deportations, and he really made it a central issue of his campaign. And you could argue because of that issue, he won all 7 swing states, and he actually won some of them by big margins, like Arizona by almost 200,000 votes. And so I do believe that because he's made this promise, he really needs to come forth and do them. Otherwise, that's going to give a perception to voters that Trump is not able to fulfill his promises. This is one of the more bipartisan issues, securing the border, because under Biden, tens of millions of immigrants came illegally across the border. And they really overwhelmed these cities like New York and Chicago. And so I believe that this would be a very popular thing for him to do and might help Republicans do well in 2026. The next thing that I have on the Trump second term checklist is to fix inflation. Now, I'm sure there's many ways of doing this, but when I think of fixing inflation, I think of more drilling oil. Now, Biden, one of the first things that he did when he came to office is he shut down a pipeline that Trump wanted to build, an oil pipeline. And what that did is it really drove up prices. And just think common sense. So at a grocery store, they have to buy the food from somewhere to transport it to the grocery store. But if the price of gas is high, then it's going to be tough for the people who deliver the food to come there, and they're going to have to charge the store more. And so when you think about that, then the grocery store has to charge more for the food to get the profit that it needs to survive. And so when gas prices are high, the price of food is high. And I know that's just one component, but it's a very big role, and I believe that if he wanted to somehow prevent a blue wave in 2026, he should keep that on his agenda. The fourth thing that I think that Trump should do to prevent a blue wave in 2026 is to negotiate peace deals in the Ukraine-Russia war and in the Israel-Hamas war. Now, Americans have not been fond of war, and back in the 1980s or 1970s, when the Vietnam War was happening, you saw large protests around the U.S. The U.S. does not like getting involved in wars, and Trump has shown himself to be a no war president, as no wars were started during his presidency. You look back at the presidencies before him. During Obama, Russia came into Crimea, and you saw. But when it came to Trump, he didn't let Russia advance. And then, of course, after Trump, Biden let Russia advance into Ukraine, and that's how the Ukraine war started. Now, I do believe that doing this would be very popular to the American people, and I think it would be a very big accomplishment for the Trump agenda. And then the last part of Trump's agenda that I think could, these are the 5 points, but I think the last one would be passing a nationwide voter ID law. Now, in my opinion, it's really just common sense to have photo ID. You think of what you need photo ID for, or a license. You need renting a car, you need it for so many things. I actually saw a list. It was crazy, all the things that you need photo ID or a license for. But then when it came to voting in some of these blue states, you don't need photo ID or a license. So I really believe that doing this would really restore confidence in our elections. In the past few elections, people have started to question the integrity of our elections, and the U.S. being a constitutional republic is really founded on the security of our elections and the ability of the people to trust that their vote is counted. And I believe that that's one of the most important things that he could do. Of course, securing the border is very important, and bringing down inflation and stopping the wars. But I do believe that a nationwide photo ID law is also very important, because it's really what our constitutional republic is founded on. And so passing a nationwide voter ID, I think, would be really good. And that is my last point on the second Trump term checklist. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button down below and subscribe. Comment your thoughts or suggestions in the comment section down below. Shout out to Diana Barbie, our first channel member. If you would like to become a member, you can join near my channel logo. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.